Officials released the latest labor force survey.
A somber day here in North Andros as the 6 victims of that fatal plane crash are remembered.
Our news is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle WALKINE. Topping news tonight, more than 2,500 people were let go from the public sector since May 2017. That astonishing figure was revealed by the Department of Statistics, which today released the results of its latest labor force survey. That survey also revealed that unemployment increased and is again in the double digits. Jasmine Brown has the breakdown in this report.
The labor force survey, which was conducted between October 30th and November 6, 2017, surveyed 3,500 people from across the country. Today, senior statistician Cipriano Winters revealed that the number of people employed by the government and government corporation sector declined from 40,990 to 38,435. Officials say those 2,555 people who are no longer employed in the public sector had an impact on the overall unemployment figure that climbed by 0.2% since May 2017. Translation, the national unemployment rate now stands at 10.1%.
Since our last survey report of May 2017, there was an increase in the number of employed persons in the Bahamas by some 3,575, with the employed labor force moving from 200,155 persons to 203,730 persons, or by 1.8%. However, this growth in employment numbers was not sufficient to cover the net increase in available labor, with school leavers entering the labor force.
The news comes as no surprise, with Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest revealing earlier this week that the MINNIS administration expected to see an increase in unemployment. The new government has been heavily criticized for sending home employees from the Gaming Board, Ministry of Tourism, National Health Insurance Secretariat, National Insurance Board, Office of the Prime Minister, and other government entities in recent months. Meanwhile, unemployment is still the highest on Grand Bahama. That island's jobless rate stands at 12.1%. Unemployment in New Providence is 10.6%, while ABACO has an unemployment rate of 8.6%. Then there's the continued trend of unemployment among young people, which continues to soar.
Unemployment among youths between the ages of 15 to 24 years in the country continued to be considerably higher than any other age group, which is common to most countries. However, their rates increased from 20.1% in May 2017 to 22% in November.
But it was not all bad news, as there were increases in jobs in certain sectors.
The private sector absorbed most of the new jobs since May 2017. However, when examined by industry, the transport, storage, and communication industry posted an 18% increase in employment, while wholesale and retail industry posted a 9% in employment.
Now, officials here at the department say they will release a more detailed survey in May. Reporting from the Department of Statistics for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Thanks, Jasmine. Well, unemployment is not the only thing that is up. So is the percentage of discouraged workers. According to the labor force survey, discouraged workers increased by 5.7% over a 6-month period. The report indicated that overall there are 2,035 discouraged workers in the Bahamas. Winters gave this breakdown.
New Providence and Grand Bahama experienced increases in the number of discouraged workers, 2.9% and 8.1% respectively. However, discouraged workers in ABACO declined by 9.7%.
According to the International Labor Organization, discouraged workers are classified as those who do not look for work because they believe there are no jobs available to them. Police now have 7 people in custody, 4 of whom are females, for questioning in relation to the stabbing death of a teenage girl. The incident happened just a block away from her home, and now her mother is calling for justice.
So that's three children I lose right now.
EDIMAE Mackey now wants to know why anyone would want to gang up on and stab her daughter to death. The incident happened last evening as 19-year-old Brianna Mackey was walking along Key West Street. According to police, 3 females pulled up in a vehicle with sharp objects, stabbed her multiple times, and fled the scene. Not long after, EDIMAE said her other daughter came running home.
So my daughter run this way and call us, say, "Mommy, mommy," and say, "Go and see if they ain't killed Brianna," say, because she couldn't even help Brianna. Say they struck up Brianna and they beat her and they kick her. You know, so when I go on there, I meet, me and my daughter run there together, my next daughter, and I meet her laying on the back of these people's yard on the porch.
Brianna was one of EDIMAE's 13 children. She lost a son in 2010 to murder in ABACO. Brianna, only 19, leaves behind a 3-year-old daughter. According to her mother, Brianna's baby was the only person she asked for as her life slipped away in a pool of blood on a nearby porch.
My daughter, hold on, we keep on waking her up because she was, you know, unconscious, so we keep on just waking. Then she asks my daughter, say, "Tisha, say you love me?" So Tisha said, she said yes. So she said, "Tisha, say I will see Barnett before I die." That's a little girl.
The teen was transported to hospital where she was pronounced dead. Other family members were too grief-stricken to talk. Today, her mother, trying to remain strong in her yard full of supporters, said it's her worst nightmare.
Yes, it is, because I had a son in 2010 got killed in ABACO like that by knife, and now this is the second one get killed like that.
Well, a sad day in North Andros as members of a close-knit community gathered with senior government officials this morning to mourn 6 people killed in a tragic plane crash last week. Georgia Bain was in Andros and filed this report.
The photos of the 6 fallen victims sat adorned with pink and blue flowers in front of the church with candles burning in front. By 10 a.m., the church was just about full. Even after the church had reached capacity, persons from the close-knit community crowded the church door and stood outside under tents. Hymns of praise, such as "Praise to the Lord," "Majesty," and "How Great Thou Art," flowed through the church as family members and friends remembered those lives lost just 9 days ago. Throughout the service, family members cried out as the reality of their loss hit home. There were a series of prayers for the family, the nation, community, first responders, pilots, and the recovery team. A teary-eyed North Andros MP, CARLTON BOWLEG, said, "We are celebrating the lives of some of the best people he's ever met in Andros," as he recalled the last time he saw the victims.
You raise me up so I can stand on the mountain. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas.
On the 10th of January, let me show you how coincidence happened. I was given a call by Miss Margaret, very concerned young lady about North Andros. Had a very uplifting conversation with her. At the end of that assembly, I came in contact with Nikki, as you know, and her daughter. She told me that she was going to be going back to South Cat Key, where she was a chef. Both of them were the last that I saw while I was in Nicolstown. I drove on out of Losa, went to the airport, jumped on a plane and ran into Nassau. The last person I shook, but that of the
Leader of the opposition, Philip Brave Davis, said, "We owe it to the victims to make sure that they didn't die in vain." The Prime Minister then took to the podium to assure the families that they are not alone in their time of sorrow.
Be assured that it is not only Andros that is grieving, but the entire Bahamas is grieving.
Amen.
The entire country feels a profound sense of sorrow and heartbreak. And please know that as a nation, we are praying for you.
President of the North ANDROS Christian Council, Reverend Dr. IFILL Russell, also addressed the mourners.
So to the bereaved family and the North ANDROS community, as we go through this fight, I want us to know that God is with us. He has not abandoned or forsaken us. Yes, the God on the mountain is still God even now in our valley experience. The God of the day is still God in the night experience. And the God, praise God, of the good times is still God in the bad times.
A heartfelt appeal came at the end of the service by the brother of Ricardo Campbell, Philip Campbell, who begged the Prime Minister for the remains of the victims to return to Andros as soon as possible for a proper burial so that all the families could have closure. Reporting from R News, I'm Georgia Bain.
Princess Margaret Hospital experiencing a bed crisis. During a press conference today, the hospital's administrator, Mary Walker, confirmed that there is a major shortage of bed space, creating a huge problem.
In all of my years here, yes, ma'am, this is the worst I've ever seen it.
According to Walker, PMH is listed as a 402-bed facility. However, the hospital is now down 42 beds due to renovation projects. This, coupled with boarders or patients who were discharged but have no one to collect them, has created one major situation for the public hospital.
This not only drains vital hospital resources, but regrettably has further impacted the hospital's ability to provide bed space for new admissions. The current overcrowding has also resulted in an increase in the waiting time for patients seeking care at the accident and emergency.
According to Walker, over the past 2 weeks, there were around 100 people daily who were either already being served in A&E or waiting. But with this shortage of bed space comes the rescheduling of some key services.
So elective cases had to be canceled today because we didn't have the bed space to accommodate admissions for surgery. The patients will be rescheduled, and all emergency cases are still being done. Our surgeons are operating now because some patients were already in hospital, and we're trying to have their cases done, and then once they recover, they will be discharged.
Medical Chief of Staff Dr. Caroline Barnett GARRAWAY says despite the shortage, clinics throughout New Providence should be utilized, while A&E should only be relied on for emergencies.
I would also like to encourage those patients who are presenting with critically ill conditions to call our direct line 326-7014, where we can advise as to whether or not they're to present to the emergency department or to be referred to the clinic.
This crisis comes as the hospital continues to battle staffing issues with a severe shortage of nurses.
That compounds the issue. The shortage of nurses then compounds the issue, because in order then to accommodate the persons who require admission, we have to open what we call virtual wards, which were decommissioned spaces that are waiting to be renovated. And every time we do that, it's done with overtime on the part of the nurses. So we're actually getting to the point now where the nurses are too tired to respond to that call.
Walker said steps are being taken to address the issue in phases.
If we can move some of these borders out, potentially we have beds right away. The additional projects are at phases where they are confirming architectural drawings and funding. And so they're a bit further away, but there are plans in place to, yes, increase our capacity.
Still to come on our news, why the National Security Minister suggests hangings may never resume. Plus, ORG celebrates a small victory for small business owners. Stay tuned.